what we've done is we've essentially taken that neuroscience and we've now embedded it into a curriculum by exposing students with dyslexia to those professions where these strengths reveal themselves. Entrepreneurship is one of those principal professions. And so this curriculum, which I've walked these fine students through with the assistance of their teachers in the Tisbury, West Tisbury, Edgartown, and Charter School, we've gone through a 10-week process where we have identified what a problem looks like. Not a problem that we experience, but a problem that we observe or that we experience, and then look at it not as something that is demoralizing or a drag, but as an actuality and opportunity, right? We start to use that interconnected reasoning, and then what we do is we come up with an original business idea, which everybody has, and then we go through a 10-week process of building a business plan. So we talk about how that problem reveals that opportunity. Who would find value in the opportunity, the business that we are creating? How would we pitch that value proposition to those people? All of this is embedding a lot of exercises in empathy and compassion and flexible perspective taking, all of which we know students in general, but particularly my little brothers and sisters, we need to learn these social emotional learning cues in order to get through life, well, school and then life. So I want to say very, very quickly, if I could possibly be quick, that this pitch tonight, these are 3 out of the 5 teams that I've worked with this semester. This is a voluntary exercise. There's no grades, they haven't been forced, they have chosen to do the one thing that 9 out of 10 adults are terrified to do, which is speak publicly and reveal an idea that they've come up with and worked on. So, obviously, we all know how much courage that takes to do, and we understand, obviously, how proud we are of these students. We've got little sheets on all the tables. They're little shout-out sheets, and I invite you to write. It says, I want to give a shout-out to Ben, because during his presentation, he rocked it, or whatever it is. But that positive affirmation is critical, and I'll be sure to take those back and make sure that the students get that. The last thing is 2 last things. The first is that I will be giving another professional development seminar with my team on January 13th, which is generously hosted by Richie Smith and the superintendent's office. Last October, we trained 25 teachers and educators here on the island. We are now expanding that to include parents who want to be involved in this curriculum or future offerings, community volunteers, or just anybody who's interested in understanding my peeps a little bit better. The last thing is that we have been able to do this and will be able to do this for 2 full years because of the generous contribution of the Tower Foundation. As members, yes, as members of the Martha's Vineyard community, we can thank the Tower Foundation for, in large part, the IWYC, a lot of the Martha's Vineyard Community Services offerings. Tower Foundation is doing profound things in Dukes County, specifically in a couple of other pockets in the country. I also have a lot of my personal donors and business supporters here, and I could not have done this without you. This is 2 years of my work, culminating in these fine faces over here. So please understand how much that means to me. I also want to thank, of course, well, as I said before, Richie Smith and all of the Martha's Vineyard Public Schools for letting this, letting this guy come in and pitch this wild idea, and then find young students to get involved, and the teachers I've worked with in those schools have been extraordinary. The last thing is that this establishment here, which is a part of the the YMCA, and run by our friend Tony Lombardi in the back, also a dyslexic, you can tell because this place is so cool. This is a chemical-free teen center. This is an extremely valuable resource that all families should know about, especially with some of the epidemics that are going on that we all know about. So, these 3 teams from the Tisbury, in this order, Tisbury, Charter, and Edgartown School have come up with these businesses completely by themselves. What I want you to listen for are three principal things. What is the problem that they are addressing? What is the solution that they have come up with? And what is the value proposition? What benefit does it bring to their future customers? So, you guys are all nervous. You guys got really nervous. I'm nervous. I'm nervous right now. You guys must be nervous. But guess what? Remember, everybody expects at least 2 screw-ups, okay? Don't disappoint me. 2 screw-ups. Ben's response was, I can't promise anything. So, just to give you a little bit of context on the capital component, they just said that they secured $180,000 in capital. Obviously, anybody who's watched Shark Tank understands that capital is needed to start a business. The way we award seed capital in our entrepreneurship curriculum is that at the end of each class, student teams are awarded fictitious, and I've broke a couple of hearts with the fictitious part of the seed capital. We've had the discussion like, no, not 20 grand, for real? No, it's not, it's fictitious, but the idea is this. What it does is it indicates how well the team has worked collaboratively during that specific period. Have they shown up for each other? Have they used conflict resolution? Have they negotiated their differences? Have they actively listened to each other? So, the seed capital is pivotal to this process. Those are 3 6th graders standing up in front of a dark room filled with adults. Can't imagine anything more terrifying. That was so well done, guys. You know, one of the things that we do is that we teach our content in an online format so that we can avoid temporarily the obstacle of text, which is, of course, the dyslexic's sort of Achilles heel. And so once a student becomes involved in our curriculum, they get a username and a password, and they go and they spend approximately 30 to 35 minutes each week learning about these different parts of building a business. But they do so through a video which has visual cues and audio reinforcements and infographics. The idea is that this is the way that dyslexics prefer to learn. Then they do an exercise that prepares them for the in-classroom component. We meet once a week, come into the classroom, we do a 5-minute mindfulness exercise. Without getting too deep into the neuroscience, the working memory needs to be sort of cleansed in order to absorb material. That's the purpose of mindfulness. We eventually work into a positive affirmation exercise where we say, my name is Dean, I'm dyslexic, and I'm a great problem solver. So we start to carve a new neural pathway associated with the title of dyslexia or a language-based learning disability. Then what we do is we break up into what are called soul centers. And the soul center is an acronym for a self-organized, unbridled learning center. And the students have only one rule. They get complete autonomy to speak as they would if they were out on the recess, provided they subscribe to those conflict resolution, negotiation, and active listening techniques. So we say, it's your gig. You do it as you want to. You just have to speak to each other as a good entrepreneur or as a good citizen would. So, I don't think there's anything I could possibly say after those 3 presentations. That is absolutely, can I have just one more round of applause? I asked you all to make a minimum of 2 mistakes each, and you totally defied me. That was absolutely perfect. I hope you guys are blown away by what you just accomplished. What blows my mind is that, yes, sure, this is about coming up with a business idea and going through this process, but more importantly, I think it's what you just saw, which is, for this kid, as a 6th grader, the last thing I ever wanted to do was be identified publicly as being dyslexic or having a learning difference. The last thing I would ever want to do is come up, have that light shed on me, and be proud of who I was and proud of showing you how creative I can be. If that is any indication of the future of this LD movement, we're crushing it. We're absolutely crushing it. You guys are amazing. Now, I have to thank, I think we've got 3 of the 4 teachers here today who worked with me on this curriculum in the Tisbury, West Tisbury, Edgartown, and charter schools. With a little bit of hope, we'll be expanding into Oak Bluffs next semester. We're working on scheduling and hoping to also extend this to older ages as well. So we have a wonderful sponsor. Teachers, if you would, we have a wonderful sponsor named Fjallraven, which is sort of the J. Crew of Sweden, and they wanted to make sure that you all had some really nice fleece jackets to go into the summer, to the winter. So you're not going to give it? Yes, okay. Thank you. I've got to, I'm going to sort these out, but more importantly, I have a director of research and education who's on my team. Please come up. And she was the one that chose colors and sizes, okay? Because I just don't know that. But this is Kylie from Edgartown, Lauren from Tisbury, and Melissa from Tisbury, and Lauren from the charter school. And of course, unfortunately, Robin from the West Tisbury School couldn't be here tonight, but I just wanted to thank you all. Thank you for having the faith to enroll your children in this program. I guess you'll get the unsolicited truth at home, whether or not it was enjoyable. It certainly was for me. I think that what you've just seen is nothing short of beyond impressive. So thank you all. Appreciate it. Have a good night.